What's happening, everybody? Tech Kid Geek. Today I want to talk about fanboy. Fanboyism, fanboy, whatever. I'm not going to bash any fanboy out there who's an Apple fanboy or PlayStation, Xbox, no matter, but I just want to talk about it because it just seems like this is this big talk about fanboys. And my thing is, who really cares? But you know, some people just have a little argument. Some people have a certain company they just love and they'll just defend it from these. And that's what I pretty much want to talk about because I was watching a video from a man, Soldier No Best. Go check him out. And he was talking about how he get criticized for being like he calls himself an Apple consumer. And I can say it. And he reviews a lot of Apple products and things like that. And I must say, for the most part, that's his choice. That's his preference. If he likes Apple products, that's what he likes. Now he does review a whole lot of other stuff like Android phones and all kinds of other stuff by other companies, but he prefers Apple products. He just likes those products. Now ain't nothing wrong with that, but my thing is a lot of people say people who like Apple sucks. Okay, that's if you feel that way, fine. That's okay. Yeah, that's your opinion. But my thing is there really a big problem with people liking Apple products or spending that much money? Now my thing is with fanboyism. This is my definition of fanboy. When you like a specific company and no matter what they make, you'll defend. No matter how good another company makes something that's either the same or slightly better, you always seem to defend that company. You don't work for this company, but you always seem to defend it. Like back when I was working in the game store, a friend of mine who always was into PlayStation. I was just thinking PlayStation. And that's how I came up. I was hanging around them all the time. That's why I started thinking PlayStation. Then after a while, I was just like, you know what? Let's see. Because my cousin was selling an Xbox at his store. So I said, no, why not? Can't hurt. Let me get one. And then once I got one, I liked it. And I like both of them. I like the PlayStation. I like the Xbox. I prefer the Xbox more over the PlayStation because certain games that I wanted was on the Xbox, but certain games I wanted on the PlayStation. So I was kind of in between. And after a while, I kind of was like, why can't I just use both systems and get the benefits of both and just like both systems? But it's just some people out there, regardless, that may just like the PlayStation. I remember when I was working at the game store, this one guy was like, I would spend $1,000 because it was Sony. And I'm sitting here like, okay, that's your personal preference if that's how you feel. But I'm sitting here like, if the Xbox is a good system, could you give it credit? Some people that's just, you know, PlayStation fanboys, they'll just say the PlayStation better. Okay, in some cases it has been in graphical wise, certain games wise and things like that, but the Xbox did have some good systems and it had a great online system. Now that was my thing. Xbox 60 had a great online service compared to the PlayStation where I didn't like it as much because it just wasn't as good as the Xbox Live. A lot of people argue either way, but I went with Xbox 360's online service because it was just better at the time. PlayStation was free, but it wasn't that good. That's my personal preference. And some people just like, you know, Apple products like MacBook Pros, Mac Pros, iMacs, all those iPhones, iPods, everything's Apple. Yes, they make good, solid products and things like that. But me personally, I had the iPhone, which was a good phone in my opinion. I mean, it's the easiest smartphone you can pick up out here and just get your hands on it. Now, like I said, you could easily figure it out in about a week. iPod and everything else is pretty much the same, so you can't go wrong with that if you're into that Apple ecosystem. But me personally, I just like, if a company makes something I like, I just like it. I don't care who makes it most of the time. If it's a good product and I like it, go for it. And that's just how I feel. But as far as fanboys, my thing is with fanboys is, if you're a fanboy of a particular company, Apple, Sony, Microsoft, or Samsung, you know, all those type of companies, don't just knock down other companies because you feel as though the company you specifically prefer is better than everything else that's out there. That's my thing about fanboyism. Like, let's just say I run into an Apple fanboy who says, Windows computer are the worst, they do this, they do that, Alright, that's your personal experience if you had a Windows computer. Now, my thing is, if you never had a Windows computer, or ever you even use Windows, and you're sitting here saying that, you know, it's whack, it's corny, it's this, it's that, how you even know if you never even used it? That's like me saying I don't like Macs because of their price. Okay. But I never used one, so I'm sitting here, I don't like the OS, never really used it. You see what I'm saying? Just, when you're a fanboy, just be open-minded in my opinion. Like, if you like Apple, that's fine. But cool. Other companies do make good products. I don't want to hear Apple makes the best, they do this, they do that. They're not the only company that make good products. That's all I'm saying. Like, some people, when I was in the game store, it was always, well, back when I first started, it was PlayStation 2 and it was Xbox. In some cases, you could say that PlayStation was better because it had more games at the time. Xbox was a better system as far as spec-wise, graphic-wise, and things like that. But it didn't have the games that you had on PlayStation. And that in itself is a reason you could say, well, PlayStation's better because it got the games I want. That's a perfectly legit argument. But my thing was, it was people who just saw PlayStation. They wouldn't give Xbox a chance because of what reason. I remember when this guy I was working with, he said he didn't like the Xbox 3. He said he just don't do Xbox. Never give a reason why. He just said he don't like it. And my thing is, why don't you like it? I mean, did you give it a try? If you just say, well, I'm used to PlayStation and I'm not used to Xbox. Okay, that's a good one. But my thing is, don't be so blind to be one company because you're so used to buying this system because everybody else done bought it or a whole bunch of your friends got it, and you don't want to look the other way because you don't like it or it's not what you like or whatever. You know what I mean? You're not just being closed-minded when it comes to certain things. Like that's when I was working at GameStop. That was always an argument. That was one of those little. Sometimes we have conversations about it. You got the PlayStation guys, we got the Xbox guys. One doing argument for the other, one another. I'm sitting here like, why not just get both and see which? I mean, they both had their qualities about them. So, but you know, some people like, I'm just PlayStation. I'm PlayStation for life. This, not this, and I'm sitting here like, really? You don't even work for them. But that's how some people are. Like when it comes to certain companies or certain products or certain things that they just buy, they just do. Now, Apple fanboys I've come across just said they prefer Macs because what they want to do on them is better than they would on PC. I'm fine with that, but they also are open-minded. So they used PC before, but they just prefer Macs. I'm cool with that. I'm just talking about the fanboys who just say, I like PlayStation because it's PlayStation, or I'll spend that kind of money because it's PlayStation. Now, in some retrospect, when the PS3 dropped and things like that was going around, they was talking about that when it was $600, you know, people was like, dang, it's $600, I'm still going to get it. I'm still going to get that money. I'm still going to spend that money for it. And they took a big hit for that PS3 because it was $600 and you had the Xbox for $400. And then it was like you really didn't give people that, you know what I mean, that choice. So, but it was people that's out there that bought the PlayStation 3 simply because it was PlayStation. And there's probably people out there who buy Apple products just because it's Apple products, probably, you know what I mean, but that's their personal preference. But my thing is, be more open-minded when it comes to certain companies, because, you know, like, when I was hanging around certain people, it was PlayStation, PlayStation, PlayStation. Then after a while, I'm sitting here like, let me get an Xbox a chance, let's see what it's about. And ever since then, I've been Xbox all the way. I'll get a PlayStation, because I know it's going to be games I want on there. Like, PS3 had the Uncharted, the God of War, like The Last of Us, you know, great games like that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that game is corny, because it was on PlayStation. I'm not going to do that. But I just want to talk about fanboyism today and just certain things I've heard over the years, seen people do over the years, and just their personal preference and just being so closed-minded when it came to other companies. Like, oh no, this Xbox, this Microsoft, it's corny. And if you never even tried it. Now, when the first Xbox launched, they did have this humongous controller. I will never forget this controller. The controller was like that big. It was like a big holy sandwich. And then they shrunk it down to the little one, and then it got better. I mean, certain games that was on there was good and all that, but, and you know, another thing, when I was working in the game store, I remember this, a friend of mine, she was always saying, I remember one time when she said the Xbox 360 came out, she's like, it was 2 games I like. I'm not buying the system for 2 games. But she was going to buy a PlayStation for 2 games. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's like, you knocking one system because you was like, oh, I only got 2 games. But when you bought the PlayStation, you only had 2 games you want. But, you know, that's how some people are. Some fanboys are. They just are. You know what I mean? I don't hate them. It's just funny how some people just are closed-minded when it comes to certain things like Sony or Apple or Microsoft or Samsung or LG maybe. You know what I mean? All them companies out there, and you just kind of like closed-minded when it comes to looking at giving other companies a shot or a chance. Like let's just say Apple fanboys or whatever they want to call it. When they buy a product, do they just review Apple products? No, they review a whole bunch of other products on here on YouTube. But you know, it's just some people out there just like Apple products. They prefer them. They like how they built. They like how the whole ecosystem works, and that's fine. But when did it become a bad thing like that? Like, if somebody's a fan of the PlayStation, that's fine. If you want to be just a PlayStation person, please go ahead, be that. But my thing is, don't be saying the Xbox corny because of you don't like it, or I'll never play it because it's Microsoft. Or you got a personal thing with a company. Like, I didn't like Microsoft when they was making the PC because they had so many restrictions back then, and all of a sudden they opened up. And then you got somebody on a Windows side or Microsoft side saying they don't like Apple because they got so many restrictions with iOS on Apple side, and you have to do the OS. You find ways to kind of like not like a company. I can understand that's just how it is these days. How some people just don't like companies for personal reasons in a way. Like some people don't like iOS because of restrictions. Some people don't like Android because of it's too much like it has. I don't know. You know, some people just don't like it because it's not simplified or whatever. I guess I don't know. But you know, some people just have their reasons why they don't like this company or they don't like that company. And that's just how it is, and that's pretty much fanboyism right there. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about fanboys. Are you a fanboy of a specific company? Or are you just, do you like fanboys? Do you hate them? Like, I love all y'all. I mean, it's good conversation from time to time. So I just want to thank you guys. Hit that subscribe button right here. I'm going to put it right there. Right there. That subscribe button right there. And hit that like button. It also helps me a lot. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. And I will see y'all next time in my video.